You are listening to WPHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk radio.
Reaching all the way back to 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition. Here is your host of Fate Radio, Kat Hobson.
Welcome to Fate Mag Radio. I am Kat Hobson, your host. You are listening to us on WBHM Digital Broadcasting. I am so excited. I have a fantastic guest tonight, someone that I respect tremendously. He is one of the most positive people I know. He is a great author, and I say that with tremendous prejudice because I love his book and his topic. He is the author of the Anunnaki Awakening trilogy that is still in progress, so there's books to look forward to. He is the founder-creator of the Affirmation Spot. He is the co-creator of Sixth Sense Media, which is fantastic. Check the page out on Facebook. I'm not kidding. You will love it. They cover all kinds of topics. The blogs are great. The articles are great. The topics are great. If you're looking for conspiracy, there's a little bit of that, a fair amount of that. There's ufology because, hey, it is what it is, and it is real. There are all kinds of topics. Something there is going to catch your eye and your interest. I think my favorite thing that Ray does is the Affirmation Spot. And you can find that on both Facebook and Twitter. But when I wake up in the morning and I hit Twitter, one of the first things in my feed is going to be a fantastic, uplifting piece of positivity in a tweet from Ray Davis. And I love that because we all need to start our day that way. And you know what? He's compiled them into books. He's compiled them into little things that you can buy, and I don't know what that exactly is, and brain poot. So anyway, I'm thrilled. I love when I get to welcome a guest who is my friend, and that is you, Ray Davis. Thank you for being here.
Hey, Kat, it's great to be with you again. Thanks for the kind introduction.
Well, I mean it. I mean, I am so pleased to be your friend as well as a fan, I guess. Friend and fan kind of go hand in hand. But, but we met when you were first putting Revelation out.
Mm-hmm.
And when I read that book, I was just starting to be able to interview people who had been experienced in ancient history, ancient origins. I was becoming familiar with a lot of the ideas, but your book kind of took it a step farther and brought it into real time. And it blew me away. Still does when I go back and reread it. I still love it.
Yeah, that was the goal. That book was, the idea being is that, we have ancient aliens, and there's a lot of talk around this topic that our past may not be quite what we've been told that it is, and that there may have been some kind of intervention in our past. And what I wanted to do was, in that book, was try to bring it into the present time, make it real for people, and think about, if it were true, what would that mean in our world today, and how would our world look because of that? And so that's kind of what book one is about. And as you know, I'm still working hard on book two. That one.
You notice really, I did not tell you I'm tapping my toes and being all, I have been very restrained with that.
Yeah, this second book is it's been a challenge to write. I think I've told you that before. I'm definitely going to be touching on some touchy subjects for some people, but I hope at the end of the day people will understand that what I'm trying to do is get people to think about things in a different way and consider some different possibilities. And so that book is going to be, it's been challenging to write, and I think it's going to be challenging for some people to read, but I hope they'll take it in the right spirit.
I'm sure they will. I mean, it's entertainment. People tend to forget that sometimes, but you have a vested interest in this topic, so you approach it in the way that I read the first book. It's almost like a what-if scenario thing, and the experiences that your main character has through it are entirely what you would expect to happen. Were the situation real?
I wanted anyone to be able to identify with that character and feel like this could be me, and that was really the goal with writing Maria the way I did. She starts out as a skeptic, and pretty soon she finds herself in the middle of this world she never expected to be in the middle of, and that was really the goal, was to try to make it, begin with a starting point that anyone could think of that as them possibly, and kind of make that journey along with her, and that's kind of going to be the trend, I think, throughout the entire three books.
Well, that's pretty much where I went with that, but you know that, because it really did, and you know this too, blow me away. And I have fun because I'm always, when you send out a tweet as her, or, because she has her own Twitter feed and she has, a following. And so I just always respond to her because it's fun, right? So I just love it. How many people are following Maria?
I think she probably has about 1,500 followers on Twitter, probably.
Isn't that astounding?
It is amazing.
I am not a fictional character, and I don't have that many.
She's followed by other novel characters as well. So
yeah, that's funny. Well, what on earth brought you to write these books? What was the big aha moment that this is what you're going to cover?
So this trilogy that I'm writing did not actually start out to be about the Anunnaki or even about ancient history. It's kind of interesting. At the time I initially envisioned this book and this series, it was going to be a motivational book. My idea was to do something that would kind of take a look at our world today and try to inspire us for the world that could be, the future possible, I like to call it. And so initially it was not going to be a book about the Anunnaki. About the same time that I really started getting into the writing of this, this has been, ufology and ancient history and that sort of thing has been a lifelong passion of mine. And I realized there was an opportunity to maybe merge the two, to talk about some things that I think may have happened in our past that could be influencing the way our world works today, and try to find a way for us to transcend the limitations I think that we've been given because of the mindsets that have come from those ideologies, and try to help envision a world that where we could get as a species in the future. And so that's where the idea for the story started. And so the Anunnaki and that sort of thing came late. The characters of Maria and Inanna actually kind of appeared to me in meditation, honestly. I mean, they kind of came to me and said, hey, write me. So that dynamic and that relationship in the book is something that they kind of grew very organically. And so it's really been kind of an amalgamation of things flowing together that kind of wound up as this story.
Well, I'm glad that it did. Because if you go back and you're looking at the ancient sites and all of the doolalies and the toys, that it would appear that ancient aliens, ancient space people brought to us, they all showed up in Star Trek, and now they're real today. Like the man bag, right? The laptop bags, and, the little transponders in the hands, those kind of things. And I swear to goodness that Star Trek was inspired as well. I think that was channeled. But I'm glad that this worked out that way for you, because can I say what happened on a lawn? Is that okay to talk about?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. I just don't like, giving stories away. But, and, well, people need to buy those books. Those are good. That's a good book. But, yeah, you have somebody who is a media reporter who actually has the spaceship on the lawn scenario. She's been channeling, communicating with an alien, and all of a sudden her world is just like, and she kind of has to choose sides and tell truths and stuff. So I think it's pretty cool. Oh, I'm getting...
she's kind of questioning life, right? Like we all do. She's
yes.
kind of starting from that standpoint of is this really all there is? That's her question that she kind of throws out to the universe. And all of this kind of winds up kind of coming back to her because of that question that she puts out there. And then it turns out, that there's quite a bit more to how this all came back. In fact, book 2, just a teaser, book 2, there's going to be a lot about the fact that the whole thing that's gone on in book 1 and why she and Inanna are working together actually goes way back in time. So there's going to be a lot of time travel in book 2, a lot of just, I think, really interesting ways to look at things, and then she will, use all that information that she gathers up, and that's how we kind of transition into book 3. So,
I kind of have been trying not to put pressure on you. But my toes really are still tapping. So, I am so looking forward to it. I spent a lot of time around physicists last summer. I went to a couple of conventions where people that know propulsion systems were. They're very... I think that there actually are at least tested warp drives. I do know that the Beam Me Up Scotty thing is becoming a reality. They have actually transported living organisms. So that's a big deal because they were still living when they got to the other side. How cool is that?
Yeah, that's amazing.
I know,
that's
right?
Super cool. I mean, think how that would transform our world today if that technology were made public. One of the people that I really like and respect a lot is Dr. Stephen Greer, and I know you're familiar with him as